It's time. Welcome back, Bat Family, to another bonus retrospective video. Since you guys enjoyed the past couple of ones that I've done so much, well, we're back here with another one. You said ramble on, you want to see more of these? Well, luckily, there is more for me to dive into here. This time, we're really diving into Matt Reeves' commentary on Catwoman and Batman in the first movie. I really want to kind of take this into the future as well, what we see here, how can we see these characters that are still becoming in that first movie develop in the future. I know it's been like a couple of weeks since I did the last one, but you guys seem to really enjoy it, so as a bit of bonus content here during the strikes, since there's not so much for me to break down in terms of news, I don't mind putting these up, especially when it's really getting into the meat of what went into making these characters come to life. We'd always appreciate your support through just leaving a like. We'd love your own insights down in that comment section. I read every single comment, so we'll be keeping an eye out for what you guys have to say. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this.
Dangerous crowd you're stealing from.
Dangerous crowd. Oh yeah.
Falcone owes me that money, and I'm gonna make him pay.
Yeah. All right.
In 2019, I heard whispers of this project and that they were looking for a Catwoman, and
that reminds me, I'm just going to pause it there already. Selina Kyle, Zoe Kravitz, who plays Selina Kyle, obviously ended up getting the role, but we could have had another Catwoman. I'm trying to remember some of the front runners. I think maybe Ana de Armas was one of them. It's kind of wild to think that we could have got a different Selina, in where it's hard to imagine that, because I think Zoe Kravitz really does embody the Catwoman, especially like from Batman Year One. And those of you who have read Batman Year One and just kind of seen the comparisons of just what they went for here with imagery, it's spot on.
I would just throw my hat in the ring.
Oh.
I was completely blown away by the script, but what got me just really amped was the idea of working with Matt after getting a little bit of a taste of that when I did the chemistry read with Rob.
Oh, okay, so this is where we're getting into this chemistry read. Now, this is really cool. I remember people saying like they would love the Batsuit to be like this in the future, when really it's just Rob Pattinson just wearing the cowl and the cape from what they've already made of the costume, and just maybe like a gym like top underneath. So I get what people mean with desiring maybe a more of a fabric-y kind of bat suit, but yeah, I don't know. But either way, this is really cool. Like, getting this insight into the chemistry read. Like, this is quite simply, you know, what actors do when going in for the role. Maybe one person is cast. Like, you know, you could say David Corenswit's Superman. But then you do a chemistry read with multiple actors like Phoebe Dynevor or Rachel Brosnahan, like Zoe Kravitz is here, to see if they play well off each other. And that's how it goes. And man, to be a fly on the wall would be incredible in auditions for movies that we're all passionate about. But at least we get to see a little bit of this.
To her. I'm gonna find them, and I'm gonna make them pay. You gonna help me? Come on.
Don't make any moves without me. You have to understand, this is all far more dangerous.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna pause that there. It's like, he's not really like, don't make any more moves without me. It's more speaking there. I don't know if he would have found his Batman voice at this point, but he's definitely not speaking as gravelly as he does in the movie, where he really found the vengeance. Oh my. Stop.
Don't be, baby. Take care of myself.
I was very excited about the connection that she had with Rob, because the two of them knew each other. They were friends, so there was this kind of charge between
I've just
them.
realized
I really don't care what happens.
copyright
do
music.
you?
So if you're not hearing anything, that's why. Just for a little bit. Michael Giacchino, I love the score, but it smites down on my YouTube channel.
Here.
Okay, right.
I've known her for years, and I was like, so it'd be perfect. It was
See, that right there is Batman Year One. Literally. Even though we're in Year 2 in the Batman, but you get my point.
Seems so obvious. She was just like, yeah, you look like Catwoman.
We actually did screen tests, and we brought in different actors, and Zoe came in and she just stole it. You could.
What I want to know is, would you or could you have seen any other actor slipping in to the Catwoman mode as well as the way Zoe Kravitz did?
You could feel that drive, the need in her that was Selina Kyle.
We truly did love Frank Miller's Year One and the way he drew Selina Kyle. It looked
Exactly.
like Zoe Kravitz to us. We were like, it's right there. It's got to be Zoe Kravitz.
She's got a wonderful fierceness. When she squares up with Batman, she's got this muscularity about her.
Yeah, she is very, this is what I mean. It seems like a really good casting, just like Rob's Batman. It's just, she seems really agile, very fluid, as you would expect Selina to be. And I can't wait to see how that develops throughout, the trilogy. I know some people are like, but I don't see it coming back. Maybe in part 3. And, I do get that, but I really think that Matt Reeves is going to probably inject her right back in there. It's just, it is always a bit hard to figure it out, because if she's left to go to Bloodhaven, why come back? Maybe she sees a new opportunity. Maybe this is where we're going to get the somewhat her actually meeting Bruce Wayne, but not knowing that Bruce Wayne is the Batman. And that's going to be a little bit of suspension of disbelief there, not realizing that the man you kissed is right there, but he just wears a cowl. But hey, that's what it's all about, baby. Superman gets away with it. So yeah, Batman's got more of a chance.
It was a bit of a reunion for us. I used to actually teach Zoe private lessons in martial arts.
Okay.
When she was 10 years old.
The first couple
10
months
years
of training
old.
was, it was intense.
She got trained by this guy when she was 10 years old. So she's been in that's hilarious to me in a cool way. He's now doing this for the Batman movie, for Batman and Catwoman's fights, but he also taught her since she was 10. So she's been in Catwoman in training since 10 years old. Man, that's weird in a very cool way.
Hobble home. Started training in November 2019, and then we shut down in March for 6 months, and I tried my hardest.
November 2019, then they shut down in March, COVID full swing for 6 months. Whew. That is crazy. That is, oh man, it takes me back. Luckily for the Batman Part 2, other than the strikes, which, seem to, have a little bit of a good progress recently. But I don't know when you're seeing this, because this is probably pre-recorded, and whenever it's going up, I don't know what's happened. But as of when I'm recording this, good progress is being made. That either way, the filming process for Part 2 should be a lot more expedited. It's not going to be like an 18-month production like the first one.
To just kind of remember everything I've learned.
Given the required social distancing, we've implemented video training so that they can learn technique and stance work.
Just extend.
That's crazy.
Bring it back in. And you see, as I extend, I drop my chest, but I still look up.
Rob.
That's nuts. Sorry, I know I'm pausing quite a lot here, but that is nuts. Adjusting to filmmaking during COVID is one thing, but I never really even thought about doing the stunt training for Batman or Catwoman, Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz at home. I remember reading them saying that they were working out during home and doing all this and that in between filming while they were waiting to get back during COVID. But watching a video like this and really making sure your form's correct without somebody seeing you in the third person, that's a lot.
Alonzo and his whole team are just incredible people, really dedicated to it feeling real and feeling accurate.
Maybe as you spin, after you do this lunge, it's this way, and then maybe you can hug a little bit more.
A lot of her style is more evasive.
Look at that cape flow. I love that. The Batman's cape is so good.
In tune with using the style of, say, Taekwondo and Capoeira and Hapkido.
She just inhabits.
I think she looks amazing as Catwoman, though. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine how... I mean, we talk about the Batman suit enough, but Selina Kyle's suit, and will she really get some kind... I know she had the somewhat reminiscent balaclava there over her face with the cat ears, with the way the fabric folds up, but how is she going to go from that to an actual, maybe more solidified mask. But I'm loving all of this talk about combat because it's really making me think how much further are they going to push that in part 2.
It's that thing, which is she's tough for real. She has a vulnerability where you really care about her. She's just got dimensions.
Well, we're meeting Selina very early on in terms of her journey as Catwoman. She's working at the Iceberg Lounge or the 40 Below, and she's working there.
I noticed that they call it the 40 Below, and I feel like I've heard that being said somewhere else as well, but then it ended up being the 44 Below.
Because her father owns the club, and he doesn't know that she's his daughter, so she's kind of undercover.
We're just drowning our sorrows. You want to drop?
Oh, no, I'm good, but you enjoy.
I think that my interest in her character, it's like someone that I can confide in and connect with, like kind of a port in a storm, weirdly. She seems like a direct, honest person.
We spent a lot of time in the beginning playing around with wigs, different lengths, shapes, colors, styles, and has actually ended up with 4 different looks from a hair and makeup perspective in this film.
I said, you know, what I'd love to do if you want to appear in this series of wigs is I'd love to have the first wig look totally real. So that way we think, oh, this is the version of Selina Kyle. And then when
the way they've done that blends in very, very well. But then it's like, take it off and you look completely different. I really hope that when we see Selina, if it's in part 2, we kind of do get a day in the life with her as well. Maybe pulling a much bigger score. Not just doing some kind of side hustle, but I actually mean breaking in. Because I know this sounds kind of like a romanticized version that can you really pull it off so well in live action, but truly like animated universe style, where she is actually trying to steal something, whether it's out of a museum, maybe not something as simple as like a big diamond rock, but Batman encounters her. Or maybe she's trying to pull off some, knock off some hedge fund type, but Bruce Wayne is attending the party as per what we expect Bruce Wayne to do, maybe a bit more in part 2 and part 3. Basically let himself out there a bit more. Maybe not necessarily a party, but some kind of charitable socialite kind of thing. But she's there, and Bruce recognizes her first, but she just wonders, why is this guy staring at me? That is something between Batman and Catwoman I'm really looking forward to being explored, and you have to think it will be explored in that vein some way and somehow. And if you have any ideas on how you would like to see that genuinely happen, like realistically happen with her return, let me know. But I don't really see any other way, in my opinion, for now, that is as good as Bruce recognizing her, but not the other way around, because he's in a suit somewhere with Bella Real, I don't know, and she just happens to be at the same place. That'd be so cool.
Batman, Bruce follows her home, that you see her remove the wig, and you see her with the year 1 haircut, and you realize, oh, this person is not who I thought. She's constantly putting forth someone who she is not. So who is that character? That all came from conversations with Zoe.
Selina Kyle bootstrapping her way through life.
James Chenderland, amazing. Like the production, as it says there, production designer. All of the stuff in the movie, basically, this guy, incredible.
In the East End of Gotham, which is a very seedy sort of representation in my mind of sort of 70s Times Square with like burlesque theater. Just a tough part of town.
I'm in awe of what they've been able to do. James is a genius, and his team, all of them. When I got to see my apartment for the first time, I lost my mind. It was just, I wanted to live there. It was so incredible, and the detail.
If the Batcave is about survival, what is the key here to Selina and Catwoman? It becomes about who she is at night, which is she's the cat burglar. As she walks through the door of her bedroom, that's the transformation. That's where she becomes Catwoman. So there's a real kick in.
I really do like the parallels and the amount of effort that they put in there. Like Batman, when he goes out, he becomes Batman. I mean, obviously that could be said the same for when he goes back into the Batcave, but when he puts on the cowl. But Selina, she's pretending to be everything and anything else when she's out there in the real world, wearing the wigs, going to the 44 Below, whatever it is. But when she gets back in there, it's like, unmasking herself, and she is now, you know, I am Catwoman. I am who I am, the cat burglar. And again, him just saying that, I want to see her do a cat burgling type thing. Now, I hope we see that in a movie, but you never know. We could get another spin-off series depending how well the universe fleshes out. But I love seeing all these gadgets. Like, this is a deadly serious thing for her. And having said what I just said, I know we saw her going to break into the mayor's safe at the time, but something like that, but even more of a riskier score would be really cool.
To the set dressing there.
You can see evidence of her disguises and whips and the development of her motorcycle lock as a whip.
That's so cool to me, but also scary. The fact she uses a motorcycle lock because she's not, you know, quite got there yet into Catwoman mode as a whip. Can you imagine getting whipped by a motorcycle lock? My God.
We're not
oh,
in the
dude, it'd be
Catwoman
so
world
painful.
Yet. We're pre-Catwoman. The most significant
Pre-Catwoman.
comic was Year One, in knowing what that looked like. The ears was something.
I think that's cool. Do you guys remember when everyone, maybe some of you still feel the same way, and your preference for a vision would be quite simply to maybe more like DCU, right? Where we're jumping into the world, the characters aren't still becoming, they would be who they are. So DCU Catwoman would be quite literally Catwoman, right? But here, I personally love it. But I remember when people were ripping the piss out of like the suit design here, even though it really fits in with what the vision of the director is going for, right? It is basic, yeah, like a leather kind of jumpsuit kind of thing, but you know, and the kind of ski mask balaclava going on, but with the slight little hints there. And that's only going to develop even more, but you see the little kind of tears. It's not quite, you know, full on as Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, but there's little bits of detail wear and tear. The nails as well. Not too on the nose overall with the costume, but the fact she has got long Catwoman-like claws. Even better, even better. It's a subtlety that is very on the nose Catwoman from the comics, but the way it blends in with the grounded suit there, it really balances itself out nicely. And again, if you guys have any ideas as to how her suit, Selina's suit, could realistically evolve, let me know, because I'm dying to imagine what that could be like. And I feel like in the plot, maybe they could just make it out to be when Batman sees her again in Catwoman mode, he's like, see, you got a new suit or an upgrade. I can imagine they might not address it so much, but it's more of a natural progression. It's been a little bit of time. She's still very much so into being a cat burglar. I mean, she offered to Bruce to go off and knock off some hedge fund types, but as a duo. So it only makes sense that she might have more upgrades, and that doesn't really need to be explained so much. It's just something that she equipped herself with because she had the opportunity to do so. Hey, I'm going to be more agile. Hey, I might have some more technology maybe. And hey, since I'm running riskier scores, maybe my mask and concealment for my identity is a bit more protective and maybe even more obscuring.
Something that Matt was very interested in working out, and always trying to work out how incidentally to have them. And so
how incidentally to have the ears. Yes, exactly. And that's what I really love about this design, how they did that so subtly.
We cut up a lot of beanies and we worked out how the seaming inadvertently make ears.
Yes.
She's amazing. She's just an absolute genius and also so collaborative, which was great because it was just so fun to be a part of the process.
Jacqueline, the costume designer, had an idea of where she wanted the catsuit to go, and I think pay homage to other catsuits, quite feminine, but you need a hardness to it as well because she's on a motorbike and she's a tough character.
Yeah.
There's areas that have been patched up and have different kinds of leather and scratches, and you know, you can just tell she's worn this thing to which I love.
Yeah. And even more reason for an upgrade. If you've worn this thing to shit, then you need to, upgrade it. And same with Pattinson's suit having so many shotgun shells. Sure, you could, bullet holes in it. You could say, he's got more of those in the Batcave, so you could just replace it. True. But you could get a little subtle upgrade. But, I'm kind of caught between maintaining the designs, but also little bits here and there, which is why I love, shout out to people like Jax and other artists who have already imagined a way to maintain those looks, but also capitalize and evolve, on what would look cool in a natural progression.
The villains are often, you know, the most exciting part of the movies. I wanted to see a Batman that was not an origin tale, but was sort of in his early days. But that meant that a lot of the characters who are the Rogues Gallery characters are in their origins in a way. You can see all of the pieces.
Exactly. That I'm really glad he said that, because even though there's been different takes on this, sometimes, you know, even like Fox's Gotham, right? What brought David Mazouz's Batman out, Bruce Wayne, throughout that series is that Gotham had its Rogues Gallery being born, which inspired Bruce Wayne to go train and come back to be the Batman. But more super traditionalist-wise is that Batman is there to help out with the crime, as per the monologue at the beginning of the movie. 2 years of nights and, you know, crime's only gone up. But he kind of incidentally also brings out more crazies. You know, I love the way Reeves has done that here. He quite literally inspired the Riddler. Without the Batman, believe it or not, as they've gone into with what we covered in my previous video, check it out, Riddler might not have come about. There is no Riddler without Batman. Kind of like how there is no Joker without Batman kind of thing, traditionally. So with what Matt Reeves said here, gives you insight into how he's kind of gone with the traditional-esque thing, and where Batman does this for a reason, because Gotham kind of needs that Dark Knight to deal with crime. Again, like the train gang, you know, saving someone from getting mugged and, you know, beaten up and whatnot. So he deals with crime like that. But the Rogues Gallery, as he just said, you know, he's got characters who aren't quite an origin, but they're in their early days. But the Rogues Gallery are more in their origin comparatively to Batman, because his presence there somewhat, whether it's indirectly or directly, brings them out a bit more. Not for everyone, because again, Mr. Freeze is kind of doing his thing, so he wants to save his wife. Batman kind of gets in the way. But let's not pretend that, as what has been told in Batman stories, his presence in the city can bring out the crazies quite a lot. And I would love to know how you think that can happen with the next villain. So who is the next villain and why, but also how can that be exacerbated by Batman's presence? But then again, maybe I'm thinking about it the wrong way, and in the second movie, with the potential theme of identity, they might want the whole Bruce side to somewhat cause this ignition of whatever villain it will be, whether that is, as we said, Hush, or somehow Mr. Freeze is annoyed with Wayne Enterprises, or indirectly Wayne Enterprises through GothCorp, or some other villain. We're going to have to wait and see.
But a lot of the characters who are the Rogues Gallery characters are in their origins in a way. You can see all of the pieces and how they're going to become that.
Yeah.
There are criminals and there are victims of criminals. And I think Catwoman is the first person where he really struggles to think, well, you are on the bad side, but I like you.
I love that. Bruce, it shows the development of Bruce Wayne and Batman. There are criminals. This is how he looked at it, black and white. There are criminals, and then there are victims of criminals. There is no in between. And then it's like, oh, but Selina is, oh, damn, this is kind of messing with my whole kind of world perspective and view here.
The birth of Catwoman is on the roof when she pushes Kenzie off the roof. Batman went one way, and I went the other way.
Oh.
Don't throw your life away.
I've got 9 of them.
I really like that. I don't know if I've actually ever thought about it that way before. You know, I always, and I think this is true as well, Catwoman's always, in Selina, even before the pushing Kenzie off the roof moment, been, you know, brewing away. But to symbolize an evolution, as Zoe Kravitz says here, Catwoman was born on that roof truly when she pushed Kenzie off, chose to kill him. Like Bruce, you know, might not have been able to save him in her mind at the time, or maybe she knew that and it was just a distraction. But either way, let's not pretend that she didn't want to kill him in this moment, but Batman tried to talk her out of that. She went one way, Batman went the other. That is a divergence in the road between those two characters. And that's a cool insight that I've never really heard described before with regards to this part of the movie.
And I went the other way.
Don't throw your life away.
I love, is that an alternate take? I can't really tell. Don't throw it. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just the way it sounds with the audio here.
I've got 9 of them.
That's a bit different. You're fine, Kenzie, you're fine.
Trying to figure Selina out, and I think the audience will be too. The idea of You know, you meet her one way, and then she looks another way, and then she looks another way, and it's kind of this like onion that you just keep on peeling the layers of, like, who is this person?
There was something very special because I could feel that this is a character that she felt a kinship with, a connection to.
Of course, you know, the women, Eartha Kitt and Michelle Pfeiffer, and, you know, Halle Berry, everybody. It's an honor to be in that group of people. I really want it to be a story about a woman who survived a hell of a life, and she's ready to raise some hell.
Hell
If we
yeah.
don't stand up, no one will. Come on, vengeance. Let's get into some trouble.
But how can she raise some hell in the second movie? Or the third, you know, and let's just entertain that. It truly does have me stumped overall. Because I understand how you can bring her back doing a heist. She's just like, oh, you know, I got brought back to Gotham because I'm here for the next score. Like, I'm a cat burglar and I've gone more down that path now. But how does this make her relevant to the plot? Still, like, if Bruce is dealing with this whole other thing with the Rogues Gallery, Selina's already had her arc in the first movie with Falcone, and how that started off with Annika going missing, and that was her drive, but, you know, she ran into Batman, and he helped utilize her help with going after the 44 Below and getting some intel there. So, you know, we've had that arc. Sure, she can come back to steal and take advantage of whatever in Gotham, and we've got all those you know, ideas that I love the imagination of, like Bruce Wayne recognizing her in his suit but no cowl on, so she doesn't recognize him. That all works, but like, if you've got Jonathan Crane or whatever else is going on in the second movie, whoever it is, how does she come in a relevant way? And the only way I can really think to make her a part of the plot is that since she, as Zoe Kravitz describes, went down that road, she is now only more going into Catwoman mode, and she split off from Batman. He went one way, she went the other, as if she is working for the opposite side. And that would obviously cause an issue for Bruce Wayne and Batman, because he has some feelings involved in that. But then you'd have to organically bring her into that plot somehow. Sure, I think the natural option would maybe be to, I don't know, work for Penguin after he's Kingpin. Maybe Penguin reaches out to her when he comes out on top. I know there was a bit of, like, you know, tension there in the first movie because he liked her, but she was kind of giving him the cold shoulder. And he said in the deleted scene that one day he's going to be, you know, king of Gotham. And we know that's obviously going to happen in the Penguin series. So I can imagine if Penguin reaches out to her again, if the opportunity is maybe right with utilizing her skills, maybe she could... But then again, would she go work for him if he was somewhat involved? Maybe even if not directly. Maybe, I mean, I was about to say, because, you know, there was Annika's dead body in the back of the car. Yes, Falcone killed Annika, but at the same time, would she really want to be associated with Penguin after he was still mixed up in that? I don't know. But if it's not Penguin, then how and what other way does she come back in a way that is significant to be not a major role in part 2 or part 3 necessarily, but still relevant in a way that isn't just like, hey, I'm stealing something, Batman, are you gonna stop me? So let me know what you have to say about what we listened to, what I said, how you think Selina could be navigated in the future. What do you think the next step is for her character that still makes her relevant, is worth exploring, and still somehow contributes to the overall plot of whether we see her again in part 2 or part 3? Now, I still kind of think that we're going to see her in part 2 in some way, but let me know your own ideas there. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a like and a share. It really does go a long way to help out. But until next time, I really appreciate you watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And I'll see you, Bat Family, in the next video. Goodbye.